Bom dia, boys and girls. Life in small towns in central Portugal. What's it all about anyway? Well, I live in a small town in central Portugal. Let me show you my town and you can find out what it's all about. Let's check it out. So the first two things we see, a great big sign that tells you how to get out of here. And then the most important thing of all is the obituaries. So if your name's not here, it's a good day. Look at this. Beautiful village park. Let's check it out. So to us Travancans, that's what we call ourselves here in Travanca de Lagos. At least that's what I call myself. This is the triangle. Now as you can see, it's not actually a triangle, but nobody really knows what shape it is, so we just call it that. And here we have some kind of monument. Nobody's ever been able to tell me what this monument stands for. I think it stands for the proud history of the Travancans. This water is probably not suitable for drinking. And as it says here, agua de qualidade no controlada. Okay, just in case you fancied a drink from the monument of Travanca. What a beautifully kept town park this is. Some surprising things you might see here are this banksia tree that for any of the Aussies who are watching might be a little bit surprised to find. Oh, hello, Mr. Bee or Mr. Wasp. Either way, I'm going to keep him at arm's length. Let's see what else we could see in Travanca de Lagos. So, over here we have the old Escola Primaria, the primary school. It's not a school anymore. This is where we now store our Ukrainian refugees. There's no children left in Travanca de Lagos, so the space was going spare, so we're now putting it to good use. Now a lot of people say that Portugal is a poor country. There's quite a lot of these quite big houses. Look at this one, veritable palace. Look at the intricate designs. And it's for sale. Wonder how much something like that would cost. I've just been reliably informed by my son that this is on the market for 65,000 euros. So look at that. Look at this palatial home, and you could have that for about the price of a pint in central London. 65,000 euros, can you believe it? Wow. Off-street parking. Space for 2 or 3 BMWs, I think. Okay, let's keep going and see what else Travanca de Lagos, this beautiful small village in central Portugal, has to offer. Now that dog sounds like it's being aggressive, but he knows us very well. He's just saying hello.
Just wants to be in the video.
He just wants to be in the video. He's like that. He's like that. And here we go. Another house that was recently on the market for very little money. And you can see it's now reservado, which means some lucky person has purchased the pink house of Travanca, as we Travancans like to call it. Portar. I wonder who's moved into the pink house. I wonder who the new Travancan is. I'm sure they're fine people. We only accept the finest people into Travanca de Lagos. If you want to be a Travancan, you need to be vetted first. I don't know who by. I certainly don't know who let us in. The street we're walking down now is the main road in Travanca de Lagos. And in central Portugal, in these small villages, we don't use unoriginal names like Main Street or High Street. No, this road is called Rua do Principal, which is completely different. Look, Travancan youth. There we go. If you're looking for trouble, there's the Travancan youth. Look at that. No regard for the rules. riding his bike with his hands not firmly on the grips. Before you know it, he'll be getting on the bus without exact change. As you've probably heard, Portugal is a very poor country, so everybody has to live in these small houses. Must be very uncomfortable. And look at that. If you thought topiary was unique to England, Travancan topiary, everybody. Check it out. Travancan topiary. And isn't this a very well kept garden? And look at that. I think that's Mary and baby Jesus in this front garden. Mary and baby Jesus in a garden in Travancan de Lagos. Who'd have thought? Today is the, not sure what day you'll be enjoying this video on, but today is the 15th of August, and it's a holiday, isn't it, Christian? It's the Ascension of Mary, I think it's called. And of course, being a very devout Christian, we are celebrating that day now by making a video. Here we go. Another house in poverty-stricken Portugal. Gosh, imagine the misery of living in such a small house like that. Must be awful. Later on, I'll go pop a few euros through his letterbox. I'm sure he'll be very grateful. Portuguese people are a farming people. They'll farm anywhere. As you can see, just in his front garden here, he's got a small vineyard. On the other side here, some beautiful flowers, some olive trees, and not sure what that's supposed to be. A well? There's a walled up door over there. Maybe that's where all the young people are. Look. Like in many places in the world, when you see a brown sign, that indicates something of interest to tourists, okay? So, fonte arcada. Fonte usually means a fountain. It's fountain. It's got to be something like that. Casa mortuaria, on the other hand, translates roughly to house of the dead. We're not going to look at the house of the dead. We're going to look at the font. Let's check it out. See lovely blue skies up above. But actually, it's a bit cooler than it has been for the last few days. I think we're around maybe 26, 27 degrees at the moment. Bit of relief from the high 30s that we've had in the last week. So here we are, Casa Mortuaria. Now I'm sure there's a bit of a lag to appearing on the obituary at the front of the village. So there might be someone in there. We don't know. Nobody ever walks past here at night. We're nearly at the Fonte Arcada. Wow. Probably built in Roman times. Maybe even by actual Romans. Let's see what it's all about. All right. Let's check it out. The Fonte de Arcada. What a lovely font it is. Look. More of the font. And here's some more font over here. And look. Oh, I don't know if you saw that. There was a frog. Oh, there's another frog. There we go. There's nothing that frogs enjoy more than a good font. I'm a bit partial to a font myself. A lot of people don't realise that we do actually have cold weather in Portugal. And that means we need to have fires. And that means we need to have firewood. And over here, you can see all the firewood drying for this year. I think we usually pay about 50 euros for 2 cubic meters of firewood. and that gets us through the whole winter. All right, we're back on Rua Principal, or main road, as all of you who speak less interesting languages would call it. Here we are, the heart of the village, São Pedro Cafe, a traditional Portuguese village cafe. Let's go check it out. Boa tarde. Boa tarde. Café, por favor.
Cheio, mas normal.
Normal.
Com açúcar?
No sugar. Obrigado. Yeah, so most cafes in Portugal double as bars as well. And you can see they have usually a widescreen TV that will have whatever the sport is. So if the football's on, this place would be heaving. Cigarette machines, which I always say is virtually disappeared from any other part of Europe, and then various sort of snacks, chewing gum, crisps, and maybe some simple cakes, things like that. So and then they have the beer, the wine, and the spirits. The preço?
Senta.
60.
160 é muito.
60, yeah. So that's 60 euro cents. So that's for a shot of espresso. Perfect. Oh, wow. Muito obrigado.
Obrigado.
Ciao. All right, so that's drinking coffee the Portuguese way. Shot of strong espresso like that. Fuel for the rest of the journey. Walking through Travanca de Lagos. Our spirits bolstered by strong Portuguese espresso. Just to say something about the cafe as well. Most villages have got at least one cafe, and some have more. It's really quite important that you make your presence known in the cafe because, for example, even though this isn't like my favorite cafe to go and drink a coffee at, once you get to know the postman, when he comes with deliveries to your house, if you're not home, you can arrange with him to drop things off at the cafe. So for the price of a coffee, they'll hold your parcels for you. So that works really well. The other thing is, for example, when we wanted to buy land, we put a sign up around the village, and we also put a sign up in the cafe. Also in the cafe, they will know the people. So if you want someone to come along with a tractor to your land or something like that, the cafe is where you can find those people. Okay, it's kind of like the equivalent of an English pub. Makes sense, doesn't it? So this is the igreja, which is a church. The Church of Travanca de Lagos. And behind me you can see the bells, and they're very convenient because we can keep our time from these bells. How they work is they chime on the hour. So for example, 1/4 the hour, you'll get one chime, 2 2 chimes. 45 past you'll get 3, and on the hour they'll chime 4 times. And then in a different tone they'll tell you the time. So for example, at 1 a.m. you'll get 4 ding, 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 and then 1, and then you'll know it's 1 o'clock. 1/4 it'll just be a ding, 1/2 it'll be a ding, ding. 45 past you'll get a ding, 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 and then at 2 o'clock you'll get a ding, 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 and then ding, ding. So pro tip for you guys, when you're moving into the villages, check how close you are to the church, because you might find yourself being woken up I believe most people would say that if they live near the churches, they do get used to it after a while. But I definitely think it's something you need to consider in these villages. At night, it's very, very quiet in the early hours of the morning. So the bell. Oop. All right. So that was chiming for past. There you go. In case you didn't know that they're very religious around here, they put up another cross, just in case. But the villages always have a lot of these kind of fountains. This particular one that seems to have been here since 1932 is probably the most popular one in our village for collecting drinking water and cooking water. Okay, so people, including us, just come along with our 4-litre bottles, fill those up with water and take them home. And I do believe there's probably still some houses in our village that don't have mains water attached. But that was a proper Travancan native you just saw there. On his way to the cafe, no doubt. Here's another Travancan native. We call these Travancats. It's true, Travancats. And look at those eyes, beautiful. Hello, you're okay? You're okay? There you go, a Travancat. I know what you're thinking. They're not really called Travancats. They might be. So we started our Travancan journey at the triangle, checking out the obituary. Now we come to the end. And this is the end of the Travancan journey for all Travancans. And this is the Travanca Cementerio. I don't know how they managed to do it, but in Portugal, they seem to be able to make cemeteries beautiful. Not that I would sleep in here at night, but of course one day I may sleep in here until the end of time. The interesting thing about a lot of these small villages in Portugal is that the population is really shrinking. So it seems to have had a heyday. 1864, when the first census was taken, there were 1,962 souls, 1,962 Travancans. And that increased up until the 40s, when there were 2007 Travancans. God, what it must have been like. The place must have been absolutely heaving. Since then, it's been in terminal decline. And in the last census, 2021, we were down to 1,124 Travancans. So that we've almost lost half of the population. Now, the age distribution is very interesting, but not surprising to me. 0 to 14, 108 people. 15 to 24, 112. Over 65, 326. Now, the interesting thing for me is that leaves 578 people who fall into this group 25 to 64. Now, 25 to 64 is quite a big range, and all I can say from my own observation is that most of those in that 25 to 64 year range are probably going to be between 50 and 64. I'm a relatively young man in this village, let me put it that way. We've been trying to find out what Travanca de Lagos means, if it means anything. Travanca seems to mean lock, and Lagos, well, Lagoa means lake. Google translates Lagos to lakes. Lock lakes. If there have ever been lakes in Travanca de Lagos, they are long gone. But it's not important. What is important is the pride we have in our village as Travancans. Look at the pride this person must have taken. Half of their wall fell out. They couldn't get any more granite. They filled the hole with these beautiful tigelots. Look at the contrast between the orange tigelots and the drab grey granite. Nobody comes to Travanca looking for work. Down here you can see this was the old bakery, and Travanca de Lagos made the bread for all of this region in times gone by. But now the bakery stands quiet and the workers have all gone. Okay. This is the Junta de Freguesia. Junta has got quite a bad connotation in English. Sometimes we use it to describe military juntas that don't really have any legitimacy and are committing genocides. But our juntas are really just our local village councils. They take care of things like keeping the streets clean, the local bins and things like that you see dotted around, and just village issues generally. So yeah, for example, I pay my dog license here. They also have a couple of computers in there that are free of use for internet access for villagers who might not have internet. But in here we have the village children's park, and I can tell you this is literally the first time in 2.5 years of living here that I've seen anybody in the park. So I'm not going to go in and film because some people don't like it when you film in children's parks for obvious reasons. I can respect that. I can respect that. Just walking down a back lane here, and we're heading towards our home. When you see these kind of doors, same over here, and you think to yourself, wow, those Travancans must be really short. Well, some of them are really short, but that's not what they're here for. These are usually cellars, and quite often when you open the doors, and I know many of you are already licking your lips thinking wine, but no, usually they're full of potatoes, okay? So a lot of people in the small villages, they pull together their potato harvests and stock them all up in the cellars. And here's the little courtyard that's behind our house. This is a little chapel, or in Portuguese, capella, which is just behind our house. And well, a couple of other things I could tell you about the village. So for example, this is an example we see a lot of in the village. This is a lovely house. Probably 10 months of the year there's nobody there. The family, I think, live in, I think they said they live in Figueira de Foz. So they just come back here during the summer for a few weeks. And then there are a lot of houses that are more or less in ruin, like this one, for example. I think this one is for sale for 20,000 euros, something like that. Grab yourself a bargain. But it's very close to my house, so you'll need vetting. If you're worried about dogs barking, this is actually one of my dogs that's barking. So there you go. All right. Thank you very much for joining me on that little walk around Travanca de Lagos. I hope you liked it. I hope it gave you a little bit more of an insight into life in small villages in central Portugal. What have you seen? I must have seen a cat or something. Anyway, ciao.